Hello, my name is Martin. Welcome back to another video. This might look familiar. This is Standedge Tunnel, and you'll see that we're one of the disused railway tunnels here. Over there is the other disused railway tunnel. I'll show a little picture and show you the arrangement of the tunnels here at Standedge. The Standedge tunnels go underneath the Pennines. Obviously the first tunnel was the canal tunnel, but the reason we're here today is because there's been some engineering work taking place. We've been invited down by the Canal River Trust to take a look at this engineering work, and what it basically is a renewal of the communication system. I'll explain more in a voiceover. So there you go, that's a really good picture that explains the arrangement of tunnels here at Standedge. You've got four tunnels. You've got the first tunnel that was built, the Canal Tunnel, 1811. What you've got to remember is construction would have started much earlier. 16 years it took to build. Construction started around 1794, 1795. You've got the second tunnel there, which is the first disused railway tunnel, and the third tunnel. And then you've got the current tunnel number 4, which is the live railway tunnel. Trains still go through there. What I want you to notice as well is the shafts that were dug above the canal tunnel. Those are dug for ventilation and for construction purposes. Those shafts are really deep at points, 600 feet deep at points. And also notice the side connecting tunnels that connect the disused railway tunnel and the live railway tunnel to the canal tunnel. And that was so that they could get spoil out from when they were constructing the railway tunnels. They could get it out onto canal boats and ship it off. There you go. So that's the arrangement here at the Diggle end. Obviously up at the Marsden end, you flip that round. Great, we're in the van with the engineers and we're heading towards Standedge. We're going to drive through. So this is quite unique for us, isn't it? We've never drove through before. Obviously walked through in the past, but never drove through. And it'd be interesting to see the work they've been doing. Going in. Are they lights enough? Yeah. I presume they are, aren't they? There you go, that's where Standedge Tunnel is. That's its relationship to Manchester City Centre and the surrounding towns. And if we look at a closer view, you'll see it goes underneath the Pennine Hills between Diggle and Marsden, and it's just over 3 miles long. Right, so these adits here, you see, this goes through towards the Canal Tunnel. These are the escape routes for the boats that go through. Obviously, like I say, private boats go through, and there's a boat trip that goes through as well. And with the tunnel being so long, 3 miles, you need escape routes and everything. So this is new, not seen this before with this gate on, and we'll be looking at the work that they've done to improve communications here.
Let's put these gates on. Oh. This is adit 2, this is first one from Marsden.
Well,
there's not much going off in here, Martin, to be honest.
But does that provide Wi-Fi?
It's sort of a Wi-Fi, yeah.
So what you're looking at there, you're looking at a girder that's newly installed and it goes out over the canal tunnel. There's an antenna in the middle of it, and that provides a signal that runs along the tunnel for communications. As you can also see on the girder, it can be retracted so it can be pulled in for maintenance purposes.
Still needs tidying up, but we're getting there.
So all in all, there's a team of about 5 or 6 guys that have done this work in the tunnel, and we'll be chatting to one of them in a moment.
Since December-ish.
Right.
A lot of the initial work for over Marsden. Right, yeah.
So the canal tunnel stood dormant, but it stood dormant till 2000. And then the Canal River Trust came in and reopened it for boats and everything. So the system that's in here now is probably getting on for 25 years old. So that's why now is the time to replace it.
For the new communication system, we've had to commission a way of fixing the 20-ton cable that we've brought in. And to do that, we've installed a catenary system. As you can see, there's plenty of holes that's been drilled. It's 4.5 kilometres long, and that's how we support as new cables.
It was a very unique experience for me, being driven down the disused railway tunnel in a van. Having walked it all those years ago, but it's the only way to travel, to be honest with you. And you can see on the left hand side all the catenary and the cables that have been installed for this new communication system. You can see the water ingress there that's worked its way through the hillside. Right, let's get to another adit now and take a look at what they've been doing. So this adit is still under construction. This is a main emergency adit. So things to note in here, that framework there is to protect some of the equipment from the water ingress that gets into these tunnels. I don't claim to know what all these cabinets are for, but you can see the extent of the work that's been done, and you can see the investment here into the communications system.
We've got a little bit of a UPS system going on down here with a couple of batteries just to act as an undisturbed power supply.
So this is Ed, one of the lead technicians down here.
Hello.
Alright, is this one of the, is this like an unusual job for you, is this part of the course, working in these places like this?
Yeah, it's a very unusual job, very dark, damp environment, but obviously the sheer size of the actual project, the tunnel's 3.2 mile long actual dead bore, with 4,000 metre of cabling, catenary systems, so it's a very different job.
Yeah.
Obviously, like you say, a lot of people don't know what we do down here, and you wouldn't expect this system to be in, but it's going to be a lot brighter when it's all installed and a lot safer for CRT to carry out their operations.
So people need to book a boat trip now knowing they're safe, don't they?
Yeah.
What I was going to say was, so it's now May, how long have you been on the job for?
The job started late December.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're working with Network Rail because they own the dead bore.
Right.
So we had a licensing issue which postponed it by a month. However, after that we've battered on and we've got quite a lot of work done.
Right, so 5 months though, still quite a bit of a time, isn't it?
Still a long time, yeah. Still a long time.
And when do you reckon it'll be done for?
Within next week.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
So we're at the final stages now?
At the final stages,
right.
Yeah.
Brilliant, cheers. And of course, this is what it's all about. Private individuals take their narrow boats through the tunnel, and also there are pleasure cruises through the tunnel. You can go, you can book through the Canal River Trust, and you can go. I think it takes you about 500 metres in, and you can get to the first shaft and take a look and get a flavour of the tunnel. I think they are looking at bringing back the all the way through boat trips. And recently, there's been the advent of canoeing through. If you've got the balls to do it, we want to try that one. So you can actually canoe through, but you'd have to look at the Canal River Trust website. So this is the first part of the canal tunnel. As you can see, it's all bricked at this point. It changes quite considerably through the tunnel. It goes from this sort of like brick sort of section into a more narrower looking brick section, and then down to bare rock. So it's well worth going through if you get the chance.
It's more to do with logistics than anything.
Yeah.
Really.
Getting all your gear out.
It's the vans moving up and down the tunnels because obviously you've got no turning space. So if you've got any other contractors in the tunnel like fabrication lads or out like that,
yeah,
you've got to go up to Cathedral past Adit 20
oh, yeah, yeah.
and let them by. So
yeah.
Obviously that process, going in reverse and forward, can take a long time.
Great. I'm going to show you the canal tunnel. That sloping roof there sends a lot of water back down into the canal, and like I say, you can see just how much is coming through. And fascinating to think that it's probably took quite a long time to come through that water to work its way through the rock. So probably fell as rain yesterday, just a guess. So the section of tunnel you're looking at now looks quite grey, it looks quite dull. What it's done is spray created it to stabilise it. 200 years ago when they first came down here, Benjamin Outram came down here and did the surveys. He thought they were going to go through purely millstone grit and he thought it would be quite stable, but they encountered shale and all sorts of different rocks. So it kind of threw them a bit and it delayed the project. So obviously subsequently they've spray created unstable areas. So at times it looks just plain and dull, like it is concrete, but it's just a concrete spray over the actual initial rock. Okay, so back on the van, and as we go to the next adit, side adit, I want you to notice just how different they are. None of them are uniform at all. There's even one we have to climb down into. Well, you've seen the bigger one there when we went down the steps and it was quite big. Take a look at this one now. As you can tell, much smaller. Downwards angle towards the canal. Beautiful brick line here. This is a totally different style. The steps, brick and everything in here. So you'll notice that this antenna is quite unique because it's directly attached to the roof, whereas the other ones run kind of like a metal girder and could be retracted. They've got to be mindful when they're fitting these things of clearances with the boats that go through. And because these adits approach the canal at all different levels, they've got to adapt to that. So this one had to be actually directly stuck to the roof so that nobody going past on their boat bangs their head on it. Now, up above ground, it's a very beautiful but grim landscape. It's very unforgiving up here. This is Marsden Moor. And back in the late 1700s, when the chaps had to build the canal tunnel, this is where they had to work. And you can see the ventilation shafts here, and the construction shafts that are still visible from the hillside. We'll just take a look now. Some of these, when the hill's at its highest point above the canal, some of these shafts get to 600 feet deep. I'm going to take you to a different one now, just at one of the engine houses. So let's take a look at this one. There you go, that's Redbrook shaft, and you can see the water going down there. That actually created a ventilation system. The water falling down pushed air down into the canal tunnel down below. And of course we've got to look at that from down at canal level as well, haven't we? It's walking over the canal tunnel. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at that waterfall. Oh! Redbrook number 2, I think. That is scary. Right, so at this point here, the two railway tunnels join into one in what is known as the cathedral. I think it got nicknamed the cathedral because of all the ironwork up there. You can see that up there. And then this is the south tunnel. This is the not quite as old as the tunnel we're in. This was done later. Believe it or not, they actually dug our tunnel first, and then they dug this one second, and then finally they dug the live railway tunnel that we see today. Well, that's why it's called the cathedral. There you go, look at all the ironwork there. And this is where, if they need to, they turn the vans round here. Because obviously, we've got about 5 vans in this tunnel.
Yeah, he's just going to swing in there for us and we're going to drive past him.
This is number 21. Oh, that's very unique, isn't it?
Tunnel inspector condemned, so we can't actually enter this one.
Right, so it's actually not even got an entrance on it, or is it there?
Yeah,
Ah, right, yeah. So this has been condemned, you say?
Yeah.
Right, so obviously the entrance at one point was right down there, little tiny thing there. But like Paul says, it's been condemned. So obviously now, just past the cathedral, we're midpoint into the tunnel. The hill upside above us is way high up, so we're probably looking at 500 feet underground now at this point, maybe even 600. That's the highest it gets is 600 feet. And you can see there the soot from all the years and years of steam trains. And it was steam trains that came through here, because I think by the time we got to diesel, this was pretty much out of use. So they have proper put a line in. They've left the mark on the ceiling there. This is another of the adits. All this gate system is new, you know. This is all completely new. Wow, so this is quite impressive, this one. This is a big one. So yeah, so this new communication system is also a tracking system. So when you come through on your boat, or when the pleasure boat comes through with all the people on the boat, the Canal River Trust person, the pilot, has a little tag, and it can track the progress of the boat through the tunnel, which is a new thing. Right, so this is the control room. I'm going to show you the new system. This one here is the old system. That's based on the coal mine telecommunications. But what we're looking at is this screen here, and it shows you where the boats are. That's one end of the tunnel, that's the Diggle end. This is the Marsden end. Each one of these little markers here, red, green, red, is those transmitter things that were hanging above the canal. And although it doesn't show you exactly in the tunnel where the boat is, what it'll do is once the boat has triggered this one, they'll know that it's roughly in between this section here. Till it gets to here, then it'll trigger that, and then they'll know it's in this section here. And also what these do is these will correspond with the rescue adits, the emergency adits that we're going to look at or we've looked at. And so if a boat left here and then didn't reach here, they would know that there's an emergency here somewhere, or they'll know the boat is stopped, and they'd know which adit to enter to get to the boat to pull it out of the to pull it out of the problem that it's in. And I just thought I'd show you this shot here. It's of one of the side tunnels from the boat. Now that's not completed, that escape adit, but it will be. And this is what you would see if you're on the boat and you have to stop and you have to get out and go make an emergency exit through the side adit. Just thought I'd show you that one. One of the other things you've always got to be aware of in Standedge is the constant battle with obviously shifting rock and movement. This delamination of the ceiling where the rocks literally come off in layers, and you've got this these bolts here holding the rock in place. And also some of the side tunnels the adits are like I said, completely condemned. So you see that's 19 and you can see it's in a bit of a sorry state, so all the equipment had to be installed from the canal side. If it needed to be used, it would have to be in an emergency, but obviously not unless it was absolutely necessary. Now remember those shafts, when you approach them on the canal tunnel, you get a real soaking. Just take a look at this. Impressive. The amount of water ingress is terrible. It's incredible. Oh. And while we're talking about shafts, I just thought I'd show you what I find to be probably the scariest shaft of them all. You couldn't get near this one. This is from a former visit. Look at this. Look at that. And the shaft goes up there, obviously. Now we can't go in there because it's not good. Bit of a brick lining, and then stone. Possibly the brick was later. And then raw rock up there. But look how, you know why it's so deep there? I think it's the sump for one of the, they talk about sumps for the machines. They draw out the water. A lot of these archways and stuff were put in later, not always later, but some of them were done later, just to give general support to the roof and where these adits are, because it was always obviously prone to collapse and everything. You can see up there where there's been collapses and stuff. Okay, so something unique now in the tunnel at this point. This is some steel work we're going to go underneath, and it just gives some support to the roof. They call it the A-frame, but it's been here a long time, this. I don't know why at this point, whether the roof or the stone is slightly weaker and requires this, but it's only at this point in the tunnel. And then there you go, you can see there. So like I say, as we get towards the end of the tunnel, the Marsden end, I've just got time to show you my favourite adit. Take a look at this one. Look at this. So we're going down here, so we're faced with a brick wall. Another unique one. So what we've got here. Plenty of water ingress there. This is stairs on the side.
Is the contract.
All right.
Go on to contract.
I'll show you.
The wide.
Well, for me coming out, got the torch on. Then you come down. The torch. What?
Go on, action man, I know you love you.
Oh yes, nice.
Right, let's go down. Can I pass you that? You're probably blind me. Oh. Wow, incredible! Totally, another totally different situation here. Can you imagine the problems that's presented for the guys doing the engineering work here? I mean, that's one of the spoil chutes, or the drainage and spoil tunnels that goes through to the other railway tunnel. But imagine this was a right palaver. And again, a lot of water ingress. And down we go to the canal. Bare rock here. And at this point now we've got brick lining. So brick line here now. And there you go, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at this reinforced section here right at the start of the canal tunnel at the Marsden end. And we approach the very same adit there, no exit from the canal. Just a quick peek down it. That's almost my favourite one, that one.
I'd say so as well.
Unique access. Or maybe my second favourite one. Incredible. So this is adit 121. This is another one that's been condemned by the tunnel inspector, but we'll take a look anyway. You can see now we're not far from the exit portal. Ah yeah. Totally. Yeah. And you can see it goes down there, drops down again to the canal. The thing about this is, it just, to me, this really brings it alive, having to build this thing, because dealing with collapse, dealing with this danger and everything, and the sheer bareness of the rock and its unpredictability, you know, collapsing and stuff, incredible. Right, so that's the last adit. There's a train going through there. Just on the other side of here, out the tunnel, that way is where the canal control room is, or the tunnel control room is. The cables come into the canal tunnel, and then they come actually out of here through there, and then they come and they actually join the dead railway tunnel here, and they run down the entire length, and then they supply each one of the adits with the power that it needs. Right, so there you go, we finally emerged from the darkness. Now if you like this video and you want a video about more of the history of Standedge Tunnel, I did do one a few years ago. I'm going to drop the link in the first comment so it's easily visible, and you can go and take a look at that video as well. Paul, you were talking about cable, so go on, fascinate us with some facts. How long of runs of cable have you used?
Yeah, so it's approximately about 14 kilometres of cable altogether. Wow. That's been installed into the installation. Approximately that weighs about 20 tonne. Wow. So yeah, there's been a lot of additional cable put into the tunnel.
Right, so there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. I know we've been to Standedge Tunnel before, but it was good to see the engineering work and see what they're doing. I'd like to thank the Canal River Trust again for inviting us down and getting us into Standedge. I'd like to thank Paul and his team from Amco Giffen for taking us through and talking us through all the technicalities of what they've done. I'd like to thank you for watching. Take care. We'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.